Hi, I'm Dani Johnson. Thanks so much for joining us today. Today we have a very special day. One of our friends, Jonathan Cahn, amazing man who loves God with his whole heart, loves his family, loves the people of our nation and the people of Israel. Jonathan Cahn and I met several years back, actually, when he first launched the book, The Harbinger. Had the opportunity to interview him live in studio when our studios were in New York City. We had an amazing time back and forth with each other live on the radio. And today he's joining me here on the Dani Johnson Show. He's got another new book. I don't know how my friend just keeps pumping it out like it's nothing. But you have seen him here on the Dani Johnson Show several times. We have been written so many times. There's so many people that absolutely love his work. I love his work. He's impacted my life personally, as well as the lives of millions of people around the world. Jonathan Cahn joins us now from his location out there in New Jersey. Jonathan, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Great to be with you, Dani. Always a joy.
Yes, I love the times that we get to spend, whether it's just chatting on the phone and working through stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've helped me with a lot of different things, and you and I going back and forth about our love for God's word and the love for Israel and all of that stuff. So we've got another new book. You amaze me how you just pop these out like crazy. God has really gifted you, man. So the new book is called The Oracle, and we already know that you've got a base of people all over the globe that they just, as soon as they hear that there's a new book, they're going to run and they're going to get it. So where's the place, first of all, that they can find the new book, The Oracle?
Thank you, Dani. The Oracle is going to be everywhere, Amazon and online, offline, bookstores, Walmart, everywhere. And if your listeners get it kind of at the beginning, there's also Charisma, the publisher, is doing a special where they're going to give $80 worth of my books. If you go to theoracleiscoming.com, theoracleiscoming.com, but it's going to be everywhere.
That's crazy. Okay, well, we certainly want our people to get that kind of special gift. So theoracleiscoming.com, so that's where people can get it and get $80 worth of goods from Jonathan Cahn. Other books.
Other things. If they get it by, say, if they do this by the first week of the release, they'll get that. Yes.
Okay.
And this is the Oracle. It's actually a mock-up. It's not the real thing, but it's going to look like this.
Wow, that's exciting. Okay, so what does the Oracle reveal?
Okay. The Oracle, I believe it's really the kind of the biggest spanning mystery that I've ever dealt with, and that is that it's a mystery, if you can imagine, behind everything, the past, current events right now, the president, what is coming, end time prophecy. It's really the blueprint or the real kind of master plan of end time prophecy. It's so specific that it gives the actual appointed years of events have to happen, dates when they happen, specific people. I mean, everything from Moses to Mark Twain, from the prophet Daniel to Donald Trump. And it deals with, there's several things here. One is that there's something called the Jubilean Mysteries. You and I have talked about the Jubilee because it's something very favorite to both of us.
Yep.
But there is something very prophetic about it. There's a prophetic mystery that God is kind of orchestrating the return of Israel, which is really the key end time event. He's orchestrated all according to this Jubilean mystery because they're returning to their land. They're returning to, the Jewish people are returning home. So everything happens according to an actual prophetic time clock. In specific appointed years, prophetic events happen again and again, right up to our time. And the other kind of mystery that runs through the Oracle is this. It's called the Parasha mystery. And I know you know this, but I mean, you know what I'm about to say, but a lot of people don't, in that there are these words, parashas, that are read every week on the Sabbath from the scrolls, from the scroll of Moses, from the scroll of the prophets. And that's cool. But what just blew me away, Dani, is that these prophetic words actually are appointed and read from ages past. They're appointed to be read. Events in the world happen that are linked to the word that is read at that time. In other words, events are happening in the world and they're in the scroll and they happen at the time appointed. And I'll give you, throughout when we talk, in these programs, I'll give you a taste of these, but it's amazing. And the last thing about it to know as an introduction is that many of you know The Harbinger. And I was led to write it in a form of a narrative or a story,
Yeah.
and what's being revealed is real, but it has a story. So same with the Oracle. It's revealing so much. I had about 3,000 pages of downloads to get into a book. And I put it in a story. A man is seeking and has to find a man called the Oracle, like a prophet. And the Oracle is revealing these mysteries of God. And it goes all the way up to our time. And by the way, it heads to the future, what's going to happen. But also he sees the mysteries through 7 doors, and each door is another revelation of mysteries. I mean, we'll only be able to touch on some things, but we'll go through the doors,
Now, what's so interesting is that when I found the Harbinger, it was a friend of mine actually who gave it to me, and I just wept through that book because I felt so alone for so many years that I was sounding the alarm about what was coming to America and the horrible changes that were happening, and how we as a people are falling away from God, even though we're showing up in our churches, and that idolatry has been the thing that is turning us away from our God. And it's time to teshuvah, return back to Yahweh, the one true God. And so the Oracle is talked about in the Harbinger, as well as you even predicted President Trump, without saying President Trump, but you totally described him in the Harbinger. And now here we are all these years later, and we have Trump in office, which is crazy. And now here's the Oracle, which was like such a powerful part of the story of the Harbinger. And my recommendation always is like start with the Harbinger and then, go through each series of these books because they're so powerful. Okay, so who is the stranger in the book, The Oracle?
Okay. And this will be a little taste of the first door of the mystery. And there's all sorts of mysteries. So one is this. The Bible says that, and actually from Moses, before he died, he gave a word to Israel. And he said, in the end times, the Lord's going to bring you back. He's going to scatter you to the ends of the earth, but he's going to bring you back, the Jewish people, going to bring you back to the land of Israel, put you back, and that's when all these things happen. But he says, before that happens, there's a sign that's going to appear in the land. And the sign is going to be that of the stranger. A stranger, Moses says, is going to come from a faraway land. He's going to come to the land of Israel, which at that time, the prophecy is it's going to be a wasteland. It's going to be desolate. It's going to be desert. It's going to be hopeless. And the stranger is going to bear witness that the land is hopeless. It's never going to be again.
That was Mark Twain.
Yes. Yes.
That was Mark Twain. He wrote a book about it. He wrote a book about how desolate. Oh my gosh. No, Jonathan, I was just there in Israel in his old apartment.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, I was just in downtown, down in Jerusalem, Yerushalayim, in his old apartment. We all had lunch in his old apartment.
Oh my goodness, Dani.
So I know the story. It's a crazy story how he literally wrote.
You have to tell me where that is. I've been hunting for that.
Oh, I know exactly where it's at.
I've been hunting. Last time I went through Jerusalem trying to find it. You have to tell me when we get another time. You got to tell me how to get there. But okay, amazing. You're the only one who I've done this who knows this. So all right, so Mark Twain is fulfilling the words of Deuteronomy.
He wrote a book about it.
Literally, he's bearing witness the desolation of the land. And Moses gave specific words that he said the stranger is going to say. Well, Mark Twain says those specific words. I mean, exactly. Mm-hmm. But not only that, but when he finishes his journey, he's in Jerusalem, where you were. He's in Jerusalem, and it's the last day and night of his journey, in Jerusalem. And on that day, Dani, there's an appointed word being read all over the world. It's being proclaimed. It's the word of the scrolls, and they're being chanted. And what the word is appointed for then, when he finishes his journey, the word is appointed for that day is the prophecy, the stranger shall come to the land and bear witness. Mark Twain is walking through the streets of Jerusalem, and they're chanting this. It's on the Sabbath. And he doesn't know they're talking about him, and they don't know he's in their midst, but how amazing God is. And when he goes home, you said it, he writes the book, he's fulfilling Deuteronomy. I mean, it's part of biblical prophecy. And just at that time, that's when all of a sudden, all these strange things start happening in the land that same year. Which I can't get into now, but it's in the first book, the first door. But all these things start appearing that God is planning and really readying the land for the return of the Jewish people, and everything that's happening to this day began just then. Because when he came, 1867, it was the year of Jubilee, and not only that, Dani, one of the signs
I didn't know.
Yeah,
Wow.
actually it's going to determine everything that's happened since. And it all begins with the journey of the stranger. And when he is in that apartment that where you were, another sign appears, and I'm not going to go into it, but it's called the man with a measuring line. It's a biblical sign. Another man appears in Jerusalem with a measuring line.
Yep,
but the thing is that other guy stays at the same building with Mark Twain, and the two of them don't know it. And they're both part of prophecy.
Oh.
And not only that, Danny, his God's about to do this, but for 2,000 years the Jewish people have been praying for, Lord, restore us to the land, restore us to Jerusalem. Lord, hear our prayer, and be merciful. Hear our prayer. Mark Twain's real name wasn't Mark Twain. It was Samuel Clemens.
Yep.
Samuel means the Lord has
hears.
heard,
Yep.
has heard, and Clemens means and has been merciful.
Wow. This happens every time you and I get together. Every time we get together, man. It's like God has us both on the same path of uncovering things. And it might be just you and me that care about it, but somehow I think other people must care about it. But I have tears in my eyes right now because I'm blown away. I'm absolutely blown away. I never made the connection, Jonathan.
It's amazing. And Danny, I've never, and I'm sure with the interviews I'll do, I will never have talked to somebody who actually was just there with Mark Twain. It's the Lord. I mean, it's the Lord he always has these connections, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
And you have to tell me because I have to go there.
You do. You have to go there, and I know exactly who to have take you there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the crazy thing is I never made the connection that was the stranger being talked about in Deuteronomy.
Yeah.
I knew that he wrote a book. I knew that he said that the land is desolate. Nothing grows here. Why do people fight over this place? This is nothing, And then for us to go to Israel today, as Israel has been called back to her nation, then to see all the bounty and the beautiful fruit and the wine and the oil and the bread. I mean, and the laughter in the streets. So much fulfillment of prophecy that has happened, which is profound. It's absolutely profound.
And you just mentioned, Danny, he said nothing grows. That's what Moses says he's going to say.
Yeah.
It's that Moses said he'll say there's no grass. He said he specifically writes there's not a blade of grass. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. And something else, I won't go into it because there's so much, but the thing is, Mark Twain actually, when Israel was born, was raised from the dead later on, and Truman recognizes him. What led America to recognize him, it was a quote from the stranger, Mark Twain.
Gosh, that's just crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was significant when this took place?
Well, this was 1867 is the first year of the Jubilee, the restoration of Israel. Everything, all these things start happening, as I mentioned, all these things. And even another mystery is that in every year of these Jubilees, there's a child born who's going to play the central part in the next Jubilee. It happens again and again and again and again. So this sets everything in motion now. The Jewish people, soon after that, things start moving around. They start coming back to the land. The land starts a resurrection step by step. But it all begins 1867 when the stranger comes, as the Bible said. And then it's going to lead up. We count 50 years. And where does it take you? It takes you to the year 1917. That is the next Jubilean year. And did anything happen significant in that year? That was the most prophetic event in the history of the Jewish people up to that time. That is the year of the First World War. The whole world is shaken by this, and God uses it to accomplish his prophecy. You got two empires. You got the Ottoman Empire. It has the land. It's Muslim. It has the land for centuries. And they're not giving it back. No. You have the British Empire that just had a revival and has a love for the Jewish people. Each gets drawn into the war. The Ottoman Empire starts crumbling in the year of Jubilee 1917. The British Empire enters the land in the year of Jubilee 1917 under a Christian, General Allenby. And at the same time, these two Christians are lifted to power in the British Empire. David Lloyd George and Arthur Balfour, they issue the Balfour Declaration, which now promises the land to the Jewish people in the year of Jubilee. What's the Jubilee? That your land will return to you, that you will return to land. Well, it all happens like clockwork.
I'm sorry, I'm messed up right now. I am, and here's why. You know how we can go through seasons of life and wondering if he hears us, wondering if he will come through, wondering if he will prevail, wondering if he will fulfill his promises. And this, again, like Jonathan, you and I started talking about the year of Jubilee.
Yes.
before the year of Jubilee, which was a few years ago. And I remember like studying this, and I called you and we talked for over an hour, and I said, I know that it's now. And you're like, Dani, I just finished writing a book called The Shemitah, which is about the year of Jubilee. Like, I feel right now, Jonathan, what a blessing that you and I in our lifetime have been able to experience a year of Jubilee.
Yes. Oh,
because
yeah.
we won't again. We more than likely will not have that opportunity again, and to see what takes place at the next Jubilee, but our children will. So let me ask you this. This is so crazy. This is so crazy.
Yeah.
So you said that a child, usually a special child, is born during the year of Jubilee that is going to do something significant.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. I have to ask you. Who would that have been in that time?
Well, in each Jubilee, I'll tell you. I mean, I'll just give you a little taste. For instance, the child is born in first of all 50 years before 1867. A child is born who actually can't get into it now, but actually has the key event in that year, 1867, when he's 50 years old. Another child is born in 1867. He's going to play a central role in 1917. He's going to lead the Jewish people, the Jewish soldiers, the first Jewish army into Israel in 2,000 years, and he's going to play a part in everything that comes with Israel. He's even going to bless the father of Benjamin Netanyahu before he dies. I mean, it's great. And then another child is born in 1917 who's going to play the central role in the next Jubilee, which is going to be the Six-Day War. I mean, and it's on and on. So, yes.
Wow, this is crazy. Okay, so open up the second door. What happens in the second door in the book, the article?
The second door goes into the mysteries of what happened in the Jubilee of 1917. Amazing stuff. I'll just share one mystery of it. It's called the number of the end. And there's a number in the book of Daniel that gives the time that those who are occupying Israel or Jerusalem have to leave. So it's the number of the end of the enemy occupation. Okay, so the number is the number 1335. It's in the book of Daniel, 1335. Yep. Now it talks about something that's going to happen in the end times, but even before that, this happens. The number 1335 all of a sudden starts appearing in the Middle East in the year 1917. It starts appearing in Israel, 1917. Starts appearing on coins, starts appearing everywhere. It's the number saying the occupation is going to end. And here it is. The reason why it appears, the number of the end, is because it just happens. I mean, God's the God of everything. Just happens that the Muslim counting of their years comes out to 1335 in the year 1917 Jubilee, which is the number that they have to get out of Israel. So the number that the Ottoman Empire has to flee Israel. So amazing. It appears and it just converges. The number of the Bible that the enemy, the occupation is over, happens. And in the year of Jubilee at the same time, and the Ottoman Empire flees the land. And for the first time in 2,000 years, the land of Israel is now in the hands of those who love the Jewish people. First time restoration. I mean, God. In fact, that year comes to its head on the exact day that the Balfour Declaration is released to go to the Jewish people.
So, what is the number of the end?
That is 1335. That's the number. That's the number that appears. Yes.
Wow, that's wild. Okay, so then you talk about the mystery of birds.
Okay, there was a prophecy in Isaiah that says that God will deliver Jerusalem and he'll do it as birds flying. Now, the amazing thing is that they thought that Jerusalem was going to get kind of just torn apart in that war, but it was totally preserved. Mm-hmm. But the one who was the general was a Christian, General Edmund Allenby, had a Bible. He read the Bible his whole life. And he tells the British War Cabinet, says, you got to bring, we got to have wings over Israel. We got to have planes because we can't win otherwise. First time in the history of Jerusalem and Israel, you have wings over the land, wings. Yep. And they end up taking charge of the land. They drive the enemy out. They are responsible for the victory of Allenby. So Jerusalem is preserved through wings as birds flying for the first time. And on the day that battle of Jerusalem, where it's saved, comes to a head, the soldiers of Edmund Allenby are opening up their book of prayer, the Book of Common Prayer. It's an English book, goes back centuries. Book of Common Prayer also has appointed words for every day. They open it up on that day, and what does it say? God will preserve Jerusalem as birds flying. Mm-hmm. And not only that, but the squadron that preserved Jerusalem, their motto was this. It was, I will spread my wings
Yep.
and keep my promise.
Yep. And he has. And that's the thing
Yep.
that's just so powerful about this conversation.
Yes.
Is that, people are going through a lot all over the place. Cancer is just like at all-time high, taking lives, and it doesn't have an age range of a life that it takes. It takes ages, all ages. We have divorce that is on the rise. You have debts that are just squashing people and suffocating the life out of people. We have political just craziness happening, wars and rumors of wars all over the place, natural disasters. There's just so much that's going on, including the attack that's on Christians specifically. Even the censoring of Christians that's happening throughout social media. And so it looks like things are just crazy all over the place. And it really kind of reminds me when I look through the Bible and I see the craziness that was happening, even just this morning, reading about King David and Saul and all that craziness just within his family, and just thinking, gosh, how horrible that must have been. And that's so similar to what we're going through today. And yet this message of the oracle, to me, so far,
Yes.
I'm feeling he's
Yes.
faithful. He's faithful.
Yes.
He's faithful.
Yes.
He's faithful.
Yes.
He's
Yes.
faithful and good, and he's trustworthy. And that's the bottom line, no matter how crazy things are all around us. That's the bottom
Yes.
line.
Yeah, the God of the Bible
Yes.
lives. That's the oracle is showing you. If the Bible's being written today, he's just as real, and he's just as real in your life.
He's not dead, and he's not deaf, and his arm is not too short, and he's the creator of the heavens and the earth, and nothing is impossible for him.
That's right.
Okay, so what does the mystery of the resurrection have to do with Israel?
Okay, there's a prophecy in Ezekiel that says of the dry bones, and it says that God's going to raise up Israel. He's going to resurrect it like dry bones. And what people don't realize, amazing thing, Danny, is that Israel is not only the only nation that was totally resurrected from the dead, but also it was resurrected literally like bones coming together. First of all, you have the Jewish people scattered all over the world. That's the bones, the remnants of ancient Israel. Well, first the bones come together. He starts bringing them back. Then they form skeletons, in the vision.
Yes.
Well, that's how Israel came back. You had a skeleton army, a skeleton government, a skeleton culture, a skeleton, all that. And then you started having the flesh come on. When nations are born, when you're born, you grow into something different. But when you're resurrected, you grow into what you were. And so Israel is the only nation. Everything happens backwards, reverse. It's a resurrection. Okay, it reverses it. So the thing is that amazing. For instance, you have with nations, you have cities rise up and then they get a name. Well, in Israel, you have the name of the city first, then it rises up. It's resurrected. You have forest resurrected where old forests used to grow.
Yeah.
Everything. You have the Jewish soldier from ancient times resurrected. In nations, you have a language and then you have a dictionary. In Israel, the dictionary came first and then the language. A guy literally resurrected the language by writing a dictionary. Yeah. And then Israel's the only nation where the children teach the parents the native language. And not only that, there is, when Israel came back into the world, the declaration, you see a picture of on the side, there's a man looking over bones, and the scripture, it says, prophesy to these bones, the dry bones of Ezekiel's resurrection.
Yes. Take us through the third door.
Okay, third door. Okay, Theodore Herzl's the man who had the vision for Israel. Yes. Now, he had a vision years before and nothing happened. But you know what people don't know, Danny, there's a mystery. When he was a kid, and he only shared it when he was about to die, he had a dream of the Messiah. And the Messiah told him, said, this boy is appointed to prepare my people. He writes down in his diary, he says, today I founded the Jewish state. Now, he said, everybody will laugh at me, but in 50 years, it says the whole world will know it. 50 years, that's Jubilee. 50 years. So when did he write it? He wrote it in 1897. Count 50 years, comes to 1947, the year that Israel is voted back into existence. The whole world knows it. And Danny, I look closer at the plan, the resolution that the UN voted Israel back into. It has a date on it. Yep. The date is September 3rd, 1947. Herzl wrote the prophecy on September 3rd, 1897, 50 years to the exact day.
I have chills. I've been through Herzl's museum, by the way. several times. It is such a powerful, powerful story.
Yes.
And to have that kind of faith, and that's the thing that also just amazes me about our Jewish brothers and sisters, is their faith for their land. And yet, sadly, so many of us in this Western side of the world, and us who are Americans, man, if we don't get something overnight, we are done with it. We're bored with it. It's over, finished, kaput. You know, God is dead. He doesn't hear me. He doesn't listen. But here we've got our brothers and sisters, the roots of all of the faith of Christianity, all Jews, the roots of all of the faith of Christianity, who waited for centuries.
Yeah. Listen, if God keeps his word after 2,000, 3,000 years, he's going to keep his word to you.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So there's a scripture appointed for the day of Israel's birth. What was it?
Yes. Now remember here's the thing. There's a prophecy from Amos. It says, specifically, it says, in that day, says the Lord, I will raise up the fallen tabernacle of David.
Yeah.
I will end the exile. I will plant the land. I will rebuild Israel as in ancient times. They will plant the land. They will rebuild their cities. The whole thing, all that.
Yes.
He says, in that day, talking about the resurrection of Israel. Well, now, Dani, in the 20th century, the Jewish people are opening up their scrolls because it happens to be part of the appointed word. So they're opening up the scrolls of the prophets, the Haftorah it's called. They open it up and they're chanting, in that day, the Lord will raise up Israel, raise up Israel. When was that appointed? From ages past, it was appointed to be read on May 14th, 1948, the very day that God raised up Israel from the dead. It's being resurrected, and all over the world they're chanting, he will raise it up, he will raise it up from ages past.
That's crazy. You cannot make this
God
up.
Real.
Yes. And I know I've been shouting from the mountaintops about this for so many years, that he keeps to his own calendar, that he does things on specific days, specific times, for specific reasons, and everything is like linked together like a chain. And it's not random. Like, he has this stuff planned out, and it's amazing. And so, and again, I love when you and I get together and talk, because we could go off for hours, and it sucks. There always has to be an end to a show. Okay, so the book is called The Oracle. This is Jonathan Cahn. This is going to be a several-part interview concerning the book, The Oracle, as well as some other things. Actually, Jonathan and I are going to dive deep into some of the fall feasts, the autumn feasts, that also have to do with the Oracle and the end of time. And so join us here next week with Jonathan Cahn again concerning the Oracle. And Jonathan, please, again, you said that there's a special running for the pre-launch of the book, The Oracle. Tell us the website again.
Yes. First of all, the Oracle will be available everywhere, Amazon, offline, online. You can order right now, all that. But the publisher is doing a special that for those who pre-order it or up to the end of the first week of release, they'll throw in $80 worth of my books on top of the Oracle. Just go to theoracleiscoming.com, theoracleiscoming.com. But you can still, regardless, even after that, you can get the Oracle everywhere.
So what's the date of when we can have it everywhere?
It will be everywhere at the end of August, beginning of September.
Awesome.
Technically, the release date is September 3rd, that same date we just spoke about with Herzl, but we didn't plan that, but so it's coming.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Jonathan, I always love being able to get to talk to you, whether it's on a personal conversation or it's right here, bringing our personal conversation on a show, because it's it's fun. There's just very few people it's just very few people that dive into God's word like you do. And it's hard pressed to find, just a very clean, a very clear, here it is, this is the Bible, this is what it says, and nothing more on top of that. So anyway, the Oracle, you got to get a copy of the book, and if you don't have the rest of his books, you need every single copy of everything that he has written. You really, really do. It has absolutely benefited my life and so many of our viewers and listeners of the Dani Johnson Show, as well as personal friends and family members. So get a copy today of The Oracle. TheOracleIsComing.com. The Oracle is coming. Is it TheOracleIsComingNow.com or The Oracle is coming?
It's The Oracle is Coming.
TheOracleIsComing.com. Get a hold of your copy immediately. Jonathan, thank you so much for your time, and I'm looking forward to our next episode that we'll do together. God bless you. Bye.